Well, you need to reboot that camera again and see if we've got any action. See if there's any audio happening. Oh, and it looks like it from this end.
Audio settings and see if we've got that meter.
Just reboot the whole shit show. Somebody give us a thumbs up or a bloody message doing what it's supposed to be doing again. We just had to boot the whole bloody world.
Okay, so that's
anyway, that's what we're here to do, reboot
21 minutes of your life. Sorry, we can't give it back to you. Now, my name's Anthony Irvine. I'm a counsellor.
We don't charge them money for that, yeah?
I'm a counsellor on Tomorrow Shire Council, but anything I say here is not the views of Tomorrow Shire Council. They're mine and mine alone. And I always refer to guidelines for free speech in local government in New South Wales.
And you already know who I am, Dean McRae, and I don't have to do any of that shit. I just say what I think when I think, and let's get stuck into it because we've already 20 minutes behind, sir.
Now, Federation Council have taken some big steps down a path that you're quite happy with.
Oh, I heard they've taken down the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island flag and they've decided we're just having one. Good fucking job, people.
Well,
excellent work. I don't know. Look, I'm on a bit of a tirade yesterday, day before, whatever day it was. It's kind of gone a little bit batshit, right? Another one of those little batshit things. Every now and then that happens. And I had this bloke reach out to me. He's very, very upset and his feelings were hurt about, you're obviously a racist prick, although if you watch the video and read the text, it basically says, I don't care what colour you are, where you come from. Other than that, I consider them all Australians. I consider us Australians. I consider anybody who comes to this country and wants to work hard, raise a family potentially. They might want to come on their own. Work hard, contribute, not fucking chop people's heads off, wield machetes, not rape, pillage and steal, not stone our women to death, not rape our women. I consider you an Australian. Work, contribute, and are proactive. It's pretty fucking easy.
Yeah, but that's your view. And this is the thing.
Apparently, it's about 250 to 300,000 Australians' views at the moment. So, not bad numbers.
About 25 million. So,
well,
there's a fella. Look, the vote only went 5-4, so it wasn't
a landslide victory.
Certainly wasn't unanimous. One of the blokes who's a opponent of the decision, although he has to respect it, is David Harrison. His view of flying the flag sees it as a celebration and a recognition. He said. So.
Well, I don't know what we're fucking celebrating. What are we celebrating? The joint's fucked and we need to work our clackers off to get it on the right track. And having 3 different flags certainly does it.
Flying?
Three of those flags and then throwing your LGBT flag, a fucking Palestinian flag and an Israeli flag and a Ukrainian flag.
Well, that's all
bullshit. Yes, I agree.
But there is the Indigenous flag. The flying of the Indigenous flag was to
But even in saying that, the history of that flag particularly was it's a fairly modern invention as well.
That's true. But
so
that comes from a situation of having no voice up until a certain period in time and having not even the right to vote and all of these other things that have been basically when you've got an occupation or an invasion or basically
a bunch of pricks come in on a boat from another joint.
Shit all
go,
throw yous in prisons and chains and whatever else.
And now we're going through it again with these other pricks coming on in, except we're opening the map out.
Well, anyway, like I say, it's a very complex and broad. No, it is a very complex and broad thing, and I really don't think the flying of a flag at Yaranakorowa means a lot other than it's a bit of a like. How many Indigenous councillors on that council?
Fuck knows.
What's the?
But if we were to go through the ratio of Indigenous percentage of population in Australia versus their representation in Parliament across state, federal, and councils, I have no doubt they're well and truly representing well above the per capita percentages. Well, there's no doubt about that. There's far more than 3% of Indigenous people in Australian Parliament. Henceforth,
some might say that there might be more of them around had things not gone so badly for them.
I don't disagree.
And there may well have been a few more of them about it. Anyway.
I don't disagree with that at all.
So anyway, again, it's a little bit populist for mine. There's not a lot of thought in it. And even at Federation Council, the decision's hardly unanimous in a 5-4 decision. And who's to say that the next time it gets voted on, it goes back up? We don't know. But
look, without a doubt.
I think realistically, though, there's a great backlash from the great white majority as to all of the woke shit that's being jammed down everyone's throats. Now, I think for to some extent, I don't think the average Australian ever begrudged the flying of an Indigenous flag on a council building.
Probably not originally, until it was a must, and you're a racist if you don't fly that flag.
Yeah, but there's just now it's like every month there's another flag you've got to fly, and then there's all of the agenda and the whole media space has been hijacked to.
To welcome the country every 3 minutes, and
not even the welcome to country, not the Indigenous stuff. I'm talking about other agendas, the Israeli agenda.
Well, I rattled all them off 5 minutes ago. They can shove all those flags up their ass.
Yeah, so
I'll tolerate a discussion about the Indigenous
the Palestinian agenda. They
can fuck off too.
There's a lot of different agendas. Anyway,
that's where I'm at with them.
That's something that's the first stages of, I think, and look, I think nothing could be worse than. Look, pendulum swing. If this is the start of the pendulum going back the other way, I hope everyone's there to catch it in the middle somewhere, and it doesn't swing too far the other way.
Well, yeah,
because this is the danger. We go back to this far right, white Australia policy, and all of the every time I go somewhere. I meet people who are only sort of the first generation Australian born from migrant parents, or so
arguably my best mate's from Lebanese migrant parents. They were born there. He was born here.
I think we've got to be very careful about how we go about it. There's certainly been one of my most what would you say, deeply held beliefs is that this housing crisis that we're currently experiencing, I believe, is one of the major contributing factors is the high amount of immigration.
I'd fucking say without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, so I think that
we keep importing. I think they were very excited in one of the newspapers the other day because we've had our 1 millionth refugee come to Australia.
Well, look, refugees are different to...
yes. They are very different. But if we're importing 1 million just refugees alone...
But when's
that? That's over a period of since we started as a country. Yeah, that's their hype and their marketing was, this is really good. Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be much when you consider that we've been importing refugees for a hell of a long time.
Oh, absolutely. But you roll them in on top of your migration and your mass migration. And there's a massive difference.
There were
Chinese, Vietnamese. We've had some wonderful people come in from all sorts of
like the
shit show
Vietnamese
countries.
following the Vietnam War were basically
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be accepting a few refugees here and there. What I'm saying is, if we're accepting them, we need to make sure that they're coming here, they're going to fit in, and they're going to have a bit of a crack, because it's not a fucking holiday camp, kids. I know they joke about it being a lucky country, but I get a little bit tired every time I look at how much tax I pay, and I'm sure you probably pay more tax than me, and I go, what the fuck is this money going to? Why am I wasting my money on this shit? It's bad enough that we have to fund our own dead shits without having to fund other countries' dead shits.
And they're also hiding some of this migration because they're changing some of the student visa laws. They're changing, so they get them in another way.
Yeah.
They get them in through another door, and there's all these there's a lot of relaxation, and this is again where the
How about the ISIS brides that they've snuck in, and Tony Burke's now they've found the paperwork and released the paperwork. He knew they were coming in. He knows that they've got no interest in Australia whatsoever, but he wants them in here because he's a fucking dead shit. Tony, you're a dead shit.
Yeah.
Hello.
So, anyway, it's got that. So we've got a lot of issues there to work through as a country, and I just hope people approach all of these issues with a fair amount of common sense and empathy and understanding, and try and work through it.
I'm notoriously empathetic.
In the best.
I think the ones that come over here and sort of have a tendency to want to, I don't know, convert us all to a religion we may or may not want to participate in, so come here and just do that, mind their own business, I'm cool with. The ones who want to, advertise, rape of women and children or beheadings and fucking death infidels, we put them all in that shark food pontoon I invented the other day.
Yeah,
we push them out and we go, fucking see ya, bye. And for the ones that touch children inappropriately, wood chipper, fucking boom, see you later, happy days, problem solved. Did you see that, fellow?
Yeah.
Bit of jailhouse justice.
Yes,
wasn't that a good news story for the day?
But the childcare pedo had another 80-odd charges.
Oh yeah, well that guy as well. But the other one that they've locked up, and he's been sorted out. A couple of inmates there. If we can get their commissary numbers, I'll send them 20. No problem at all. Excellent work, boys. And as for that childcare fuckwit,
I can't sit here and.
No, you can't. I can.
Yeah,
and that childcare worker bloke, look, if you don't want to put him in jail with the people that'll deal with him, drop him down at my place for a weekend. We'll fucking sort him out, a few bull ants' nests, and game on. So
now, big news locally: massive bushfire out the road.
Now, I saw a bit of that.
Harvest hazard. I came back from Wagga this afternoon and I detoured around through that area. All the roads are back open. The council have dealt with the dangerous trees or the potential, the trees that may potentially cause some trouble.
Yep.
So they've had an arborist in there, they've inspected them, they've marked them, they've pushed them over with dozers, so they've tried to make the place as safe as they can. Obviously, there's still risks out there, so people have to be careful. But the roads are open and people are back to as normal as they can be. Driving along where that fire went, it's just amazing to see that it actually got into the edges of Inglebar Forest, which is a massive forest. And if it had got in there, it'd still be burning tonight.
Yeah, right.
So
they went pretty close then.
Oh, it burnt edges of it.
Yeah,
so, it ran right along the southern boundary of Inglebar Forest, and it was a bullet that got dodged in a lot of respects. Although there was, a lot of crop lost, and some infrastructure lost. There was there were some individual losses. There was no loss of life, which would
that's always that's pretty important.
And the rest of it should be taken care. There'll be a few things that can't be replaced, but they're things.
Yeah,
they're objects. I understand they've got a lot of sentimental value and a lot of meaning, but in the future, people will look back on the fire and they'll have each other to talk about it with, and that's more important than the things that they lost.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's get on to a really interesting edition of our local rag.
I'm really you can't believe you use that term.
Well, it's interesting on a few levels, and we'll just go through it. Now they're off to a flyer this week because they've got the day right. So it is Thursday, the 4th of December.
That's excellent. Well done. So, good job, kids.
Yeah, so tick.
We know what day it is.
Now, the Bald Archies exhibition, I always get a giggle out of that. I'm going to have to go and have a look at that. So the Bald Archies are the tongue-in-cheek reference to the Archibald Prize. They're a counter-culture movement and taking a bit of the piss out of some of the high-profile people in society.
Oh, yeah,
taking
right.
A little bit of a satirical look. So
did you submit that image you did of the mayor in his thug life gear?
No, I
should have done for sure.
So look, they're on exhibition. So that's on exhibition out at the Bundawarra Centre, and it'll be there for. Let me see. Blah blah blah. I can't see the important dates, but it's on now. So don't muck around and get out there and have a look. Okay. Anyone? This is extraordinary, this article. We've got a couple of pictures of the mayor.
A couple of Rick pics. The
mayor's sitting there with Mr. Albanese, proud as punch.
Now, I don't know if you saw, but I actually saw that come up and I cut it and I pasted it and I put them together because here's the reality of it. This whole two birds of one wing, or two wings of one bird, two sides of one coin, the uni party. People go, no. They're the same fucking club.
Yes.
Right? I am the opposition to these fuckwits. Yes. These guys are not the opposition to each other. No. Rick Furman has been a proud and avid Nationals Liberal supporter. There are photos of the, former, any fucking Liberal who gains a high profile, Mr. Furman has to have his photo taken with to put in his shop. But here he is, now that we all know Albanese is going to have the top job for the next 40 years based on how shit the Liberal Party is. And we're holding hands and we're cuddling and all this sort of shit because they have no fucking principles whatsoever. They stand for nothing. They believe in nothing other than holding their jobs and staying in power. There is a photo of me and Bill Shorten when he was the opposition leader. I had my Liberal Democrats hat on, and I was doing this one going, look, because I was annoying the fuck out of the guy, right? Because that's your job when you're the opposition. You're opposition.
Yes.
You're not teammates, you're not fucking friends, and the fact that they want to behave as so means it's them versus us.
Anyway, this long-winded article that's been penned by our editor-in-chief, Mr. Noel Fisher, obviously been fed a fair bit of information from the mayor because it seems to be reasonably scripted. They had the Local Government New South Wales Conference, which is basically a get-together for all of the people who really, really take being on council extra serious. But they're unanimous in their disdain for the new rules.
What are the new rules that have them so upset? What's hurting their feelings? What woes you, my overpaid zealots of governmentry?
Well, they've made it very difficult for a councillor to miss a meeting. Put it this way, they've got the ability to attend. Currently, they've got the ability to attend a meeting by audio-visual link. So there's a lot of councillors to basically go on holidays, but they can dial in or whatever.
Yeah.
The minister says, no, not good enough. Like, if Parliament's on, I have to be in the chamber to vote and to participate in the meeting.
Except quite often they don't, and they all skip votes when it doesn't suit them and all sorts of shit. But yeah, okay.
In order to be there, you've got to be there.
Yeah.
And that's what the minister wants of local government.
I can see an argument against that. You guys don't get paid that much that you can kind of go, well,
that's
the local minister now. I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong by a couple of grand. I'm pretty sure Ron Honig could be on at least 200 grand a year.
Oh, every bit of it.
In his role as a state parliamentarian.
Yes.
And our most overpaid politician here would be Rick. Who would he be getting? 40?
He gets round figures.
I mean, it's not a secret. They're on the.
It's low 30s, I think.
Okay, so
I think you get the standard 13 odd grand for being a councillor,
a little bit extra
and then I
for
think
being
you
the
get
mayor.
about ballpark 20 for being.
So I still think that's all overpaid, but I also think that there's an element of it's just fucking local
Well, it's
council.
overpaid when you've got a massive deficit. If you're $3.5 million in the hole, you're overpaid because you're taking
Yes.
money out of something where there's none there.
That's right. But yeah, no, I can actually argue in favour of that. I'd be saying, no, fuck off. You're not paying me enough to be on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for this little show.
No, but I think at the very least, and I think maybe what'll happen in this particular instance is the minister's gone in hard and said, no, blanket, no.
Yeah.
In the end, he'll soften.
Of course.
And particularly for the councils that are further out west, you can imagine some councillors, but also you can imagine some councillors who've got 150 k's of dirt roads to travel to get to a council meeting, and it's rained and the roads are impassable, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But also, you've got to bear in mind that a lot of these councillors haven't got the bandwidth or the internet to support an audio visual link anyway.
Yeah.
So they're behind the 8 ball, full stop. So that's one element of it. One of the other elements of it, they don't like the live streaming part of it. They don't like the live streaming of the committee meetings part of it. And they certainly don't like the idea that private briefings or secret meetings have been banned.
Well, I'll
because
defend
they
them on
like
point.
their secret.
I'll defend them on point 1. Point 2, they can fuck right
Well,
off.
that's exactly right. So and they were unanimous.
And shove your little secrets up your ass.
Yes.
Well, no, don't shove them up your ass because that's fucking probably going to be far more inappropriate than it should be.
In a motion that they put forward at the Local Government New South Wales Conference, it's very carefully worded that they need to acknowledge the need to allow mechanisms for councillors and staff to informally discuss and workshop issues outside of the formal meeting and committee structure where appropriate.
Appropriate is where we need to conspire against you and fucking...
What I'd rather see is that it's compulsory for every resident in the Shire to attend the meetings and every piece of business is conducted openly in front of these individuals so that there can be no secrets.
That would be odd, other than the fact that I'd have to go and look at it, but yes.
But you know what I mean? Like, so,
yeah, that's right. This determination
idea,
for secretive.
This idea where people just pat the resident on the head and say, trust me, it's all good. We're taking care of it.
Yes. I don't trust you as far as I'll fucking kick you.
People in the community, like, and I'll come straight out with it. I've been vilified, run down, blamed for a lot of negative things. But if actually you come and sit in and listen to some of the debate, a lot of the points I make are quite valid, well delivered and measured, and based on a fair bit of common sense. And quite often, what I have to basically endure is quite the opposite.
I have no doubt. I'm all for it being 100% streamed live at all times.
Yes.
And
no secret briefings, no private meetings, no workshops.
No
informal discussions.
You can have workshops, but the workshops are open forum to anybody who would like to show up.
You know what happens?
You're not running the fucking secret KGB around here.
Yeah, you know what happens at these informal discussions? That's when we get the bad news.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way.
By the way, we're going to raise your rates. By the way,
something's broken. By the way, we overlook something. By the way.
How do we bury the body? Sorry, what?
Now, if you want to see a bit of creative writing, you need to turn to page 9. And Mr. Fisher, I imagine's been at it again. No.
Tomorrow Shire Council.
Or not, this is the first.
They've put their name to it. They still haven't mentioned the $3.5 million they've lost, but now they're trying to pretend that they've saved $1 million. By their estimates, without me reading that article, they were going to lose $4.5 million. Now they're only losing $3.5 million, so they've saved $1 million.
No, but
is that right?
No, but this is
fluffy bullshit.
There's something a little bit more important here. Look who has authored the article.
Yes,
Temora Shire Council. Members, Temora Shire Council Chair Noel Fisher. So it appears that Noel, the editor of the Temora Independent, has contributed the photograph to this article and basically turned his newspaper over to the Temora Shire Council to put forward what can only be loosely termed the introduction, the very gentle introduction to the populace of the idea and the reasonings behind why you need an SRV. Now, an SRV is a special rate variation for people who aren't listening now.
Which basically means they're putting your rates up and you're going to like it because there's not a fucking thing you can do about it, allegedly.
Allegedly. Now, I'm just trying to find YAS. I think YAS SRV, they're talking about 50% rate increases. YAS are deferring a decision, but they've got some options there, but they're pretty solid.
Look, and they bung this shit on all the time. Every council in New South Wales certainly bungs this on every 15 minutes, all to get their little piece of the extortion racket. We can't count. We can't manage a budget. We expect you lot to, and we need to be prioritised as one of your top bills for the year is to pay us so that we can overpay our councillors to lose or go backwards $3.5 million.
Yeah,
because
so
we're thieves.
the mayor basically is quoted in this.
I hope so. He fucking wrote it.
Mayor, well, clearly he did because it's signed, and that's just for people who are.
They think we're making shit up as
where
we
is
go along. Other side. There you go. That's the one. Look at that.
So that says signed Temora Shire Council. That's not signed by Noel Fisher. So it's written as though Noel's penned this, but
it's written to pretend it's an article with that tiny little bit in the corner knowing most people just skim the headlines.
Mayor Rick Furman said rural, remote and regional local government face ongoing financial pressures and significant change is needed at state and federal levels to support our councils, who in turn can then support our communities.
No.
The status quo cannot continue. Facilities, roads and infrastructure remain our councillors and staff's top priorities. Despite some hard times, we remain one of the strongest rural councils, blah, 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 blah. Now, they've undertaken an organisational efficiency and productivity gains improvement plan, which is just another way of saying we're trying to save some money. But are they saving enough? Now, there's a review. So they're reviewing the asset management plan and the strategy to ensure it meets SRV assessment criteria. So that's one of the first steps you have to do to apply.
To be allowed to extort people for more money.
Special rate variation.
Fuck off.
Updating the long-term financial plan to integrate findings from the asset management and efficiency reviews, which also would play into that SRV stuff. Undertaking a capacity to pay analysis to gain an understanding of the affordability to our community of an increase in the level of rates charged. Capacity to pay. So we've got to find out
how far can we push the people before they start to riot and beat us with clubs. That's all that means in English speak.
These steps will provide the evidence base required for any future SRV application and ensure council continues to meet its obligations. So Councillor Furman goes on, this is about planning responsibly for the future.
No, it's about stealing fucking legally. That's what it's about. It's about extorting people as much as humanly possible.
Council will keep the community informed of this project progresses. This is an interesting statement. Should council resolve to proceed with community engagement on a possible special rate variation?
I think you better.
Further consultation will occur in 2026.
Yeah, fuck off. Just seriously. I know some people get a bit annoyed with me getting cranky and swearing, but seriously, fuck off. Nobody wants to pay it. Don't go at working out just to what degree you can extort working people to fund your bullshit.
Yeah, first things first, we will do a hell of a lot of things that are probably unpalatable to some people in the community. In my opinion, I will be advocating for a great reduction in some of the in the services that we receive at the moment that are unnecessary extras that a disproportionate amount of people are footing the bill for a small number of individuals.
Absolutely.
One example, of course, is the Town Hall Theatre, for example, which we said is running at half.
Half of it's there.
Half
It's
of the,
going backwards fast.
Yeah, and it's actually running at a big loss this year.
Yeah.
So obviously, clearly, it's a service enjoyed by a small,
very small
minority
percentage of the
minority
people,
of the community.
and less and less. So you either privatise it or shut the fucking thing down.
Yeah, and
End off.
And clearly, if you privatise it, no private individual's going to take it on when it's running at those level of losses.
Well, there may be an expert out there or some aspiring entrepreneur who knows a thing or two that a council wouldn't know about running a fucking business.
Okay, well that's the case, then maybe that may work, but
we don't know till we put that on the table. But clearly, council doesn't know how to run one because it's going backwards every year.
Yes, and they can't seem to put a finger in the dike.
And it's mostly run by volunteers, best I can tell.
Oh,
so it's mostly run by volunteers, and they still can't get this thing to break even.
Yes,
it's time to go. It's not fucking working. Who do we find that either will run it, can run it, is capable of running, or we close it? End of story.
Does everyone in the community say, "Oh no, we'll pay for more for it"?
If people want to do it, this when you do it via rates. You're doing it without that consultation. Yes. It's not an opt-in, it's not an opt-out. It's a fuck you, we've decided that a money-losing theatre, vanity project, is more important than you buying a kid a new present at Christmas time or whatever with your money.
What you've put forward is a pretty interesting idea. We need to break it down to essential services received by pretty much the majority of the community, so such as rubbish, roads, sewerage, or you know what I mean?
I've argued this for years and years, and I've been called crazy.
Come back to this idea. So we've got our core services that we must deliver, and the majority of people receive benefit from them.
Sure.
So perhaps we should look at those, and that's what the rates should reflect.
Absolutely. And everything else should be a pay as you go.
Well, it should be also
pay as you use,
or an opt-in.
Yes.
If you want to donate to the Let's Have a Town Hall Theatre Fund, then you can opt to donate, and you can tick that box on your rate.
Tick that box on your rates, and that'll cost you an extra X amount per year.
Yes.
And they need to have a certain amount of people tick that threshold to meet it. I've argued that for state taxes, federal taxes, and councils for years.
It's got to run profitably. Or
everything should run profitably, or it should be abolished.
But those are the non-essentials. I'm talking about that.
Yeah, me too.
So we've got to break it down from.
I've advocated now for this for fucking decades.
Right. Okay, so we're at the point.
Opt out. You do your taxes every year. Okay, it's obviously the same as your rate notice. Your rate notice. What services are the must? Okay, rubbish, plumbing, and
roads, rates, and rubbish.
There you go. Beautiful. So we work out what that costs per year. Now, if the council can't live within those means, they can fuck off and everyone can get sacked.
Yes.
But if righto, Town Hall Theatre is obviously the one we're talking. Pool.
Yep.
Swimming pool.
Yep.
The lake is arguably that should be, if the lake committee want to run it, that should be on them, whatever.
But with in terms of the lake, it's there. Everyone can use it. A lot of people in the community use it.
Yeah. But again, a lot of people might use the pool. A lot of people would consider themselves to use the theatre. Just not enough of a lot to make it a valid financial project.
Well, we need to see what the figures
are.
So
you would have this is your baseline rates.
What are our baseline costs relative to the lake, and are we losing money on the lake?
Well, that should be for every single thing, every single year. When they put out your rates notice, they go, right, which of the following services do you want? Should we be spending 15 grand on a gay pride event?
Yes.
And if enough people chip in for that 15 grand and say, yes, I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
Well, then that 15 grand can happily be allocated by people who want to spend their money on that vanity project for the gay councillor. Are you the gay councillor?
No.
Okay, I don't know if we've got one or not. I'm just saying that, but as that theory goes, if you want to have a fucking Liberal Party event at wherever.
Have a damper cooking contest.
Yep. But if you think that the council should be paying for Australia, and I'd say the same thing for Australia Day. Australia Day should be an opt-in and an opt-out. Will you pay the extra $50 in your rates per year to have an Australia Day event? And I would probably go, I don't mind that one. I'd be up for that. Cool. I mean, I would still rather turn around and just pay myself.
Yes.
But obviously,
you can. So there's an element there where you can, like I say,
it puts the power back into the hands of the people of what they actually want.
Yes.
And not what nine councillors who, as we keep finding out, are only a certain amount of power in the space anyway, because the GM and the staff do whatever they want separately in a lot of cases. So if you've got, for example, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody that is an employee of council, I don't really care. But if you've got somebody in council who's in a role, I don't know, some admin role, probably something that I would completely abolish, but let's just say it's there, we'll call it a marketing and happy vibes role. You get 70 grand a year. To justify your position, you want to have a gay pride one week, and you want to have an Aboriginal march the next, and then you have a rally for Palestine the next 3 weeks, and you want it all funded by council. Your job then to justify those events, and you should also have to justify your wage out of that as well, would be to get enough people to tick those boxes as you're selling that.
To create the budget.
That project, to create the budget,
Yeah.
to then go and spend the money.
Yeah.
I can't start a business off hopes and dreams. I need to go A, B, C, and I go, okay, I can either afford that or I can't.
We're on to something there.
I think it's a no-brainer. It should be state, federal, and local government.
Certainly, I think we've got to break it down to the critical essential services that are enjoyed by the majority, and they can be funded through a general levy on the populace. And then anything that's not enjoyed by the majority, not
Well, it's not even about enjoyed, just practical things. If
anything that's not accessed or
if it's
used.
not a need,
Yes.
all right. If it's not a need, it's a want, and if it's a want, you will choose to voluntarily contribute your money to
And
it.
if there's not enough in the fund,
Then it doesn't happen.
it goes by the wayside.
That's right. You can hold that money over till next year, and if there's enough in the kitty next year, well, we'll have a gay pride every 4 years. Or we'll have an Australia Day every 4 years,
All right.
4 years, if that's the point.
So we've covered off on the code of meeting practice, and the majority of councils in New South Wales don't want the people to know what's going on at their council, so we've covered that. Now, also, there's something that's really interesting in relation to that. The code of meeting practice goes back to the code of conduct. And we've got a little bit of a legislative or a legal type issue because the Local Government and Other Legislation Amendment Bill 2025 didn't quite make it through the legislative process in this sitting of Parliament. And Parliament have gone into recess. So the Local Government and Other Legislation Amendment,
the rest of us work up till the 23rd of December.
Council of Conduct Bill 2025 will now be decided in 2026. Currently, it sits in the Upper House Legislative Council, and it's had an introduction by Tara Moriarty, a notice of motion on the 14th of October. It got introduced on the 14th of October. There was a first reading on the 14th of October. Then there was a second reading speech on the 14th of October. It hasn't been in the lower house, and therefore it hasn't come back to the upper house. So
don't hold your breath.
But the code of meeting practice is going to be part of, well, it's affected by the code of conduct, right? But the code of meeting practice comes in on the 1st of January, win, lose or draw.
Yeah.
It's going to be referencing the old code of conduct. It has to, because the new code of conduct isn't in.
It hasn't been ratified yet. It's not there.
That could be interesting in
a myriad of ways.
Yes. So
that's going to have there's plenty of cans of worms on that one.
So anyway, the Honourable Ron Honig never quite got that one through this shift. So we'll be interested to see what happens next year and how hard he can enforce the code of meeting practice in the absence of the code of conduct, the new code of conduct. So that's interesting. Special rate variation, code of meeting practice, state election, 13th of March 2027. So we're getting down to about the 15-month away from the state election. Now, people get around me because I'm going to run, and it'll be running on cleaning up local government. That'll be the thing. That local government is an instrument of the state. And in my opinion, local government is an absolute cesspit. Every single council in New South Wales and in Australia has serious dysfunction. Now, we've spoken about this at length, and the previous code of, or the current code of conduct system is so clearly biased and written by some absolute psychopath. The idea that a person in a position of power with virtually, comparatively speaking, unlimited resources can make an allegation against an unfunded, unresourced councillor, then they can engage an independent investigator that they're paying. So they're paying an independent investigator, which is hard to imagine how an investigator can be independent when he's being paid
by one party
who are making the allegations. And then the investigator goes off and does the investigation, and then the investigator makes the findings.
Seems very legitimate to me, Anthony.
Well, but even
seems very legitimate.
In a criminal law situation, the police or the public prosecutor will go away and they will build their evidence and their case, and they'll bring that case before a judge. And the defendant will have the opportunity to bring also whatever other relevant matters forward. And the judge will make an independent, impartial decision because the judge is not being paid by the prosecution.
Is it really?
And
that's what a novel concept. Can you imagine if a legal system worldwide operated in such a manner?
Yes, but this is the thing.
The frivolous nature of things.
So the stupidity of the current system is clearly, surely, the bluntest person can understand that it's as corrupt as shit.
Absolutely.
And it is the most disgusting, dysfunctional, dirty system that you could possibly imagine. And it's being used, it's being weaponised by councils currently. It's an absolute disgrace, and it is just out of control. Okay?
I concur, Doctor.
So, we do need a new system, but will the new system be any better than the old? Probably not.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
I hold little faith.
Corruption is the order of the day.
Now, how many times has someone said, what goes up must come down? We've got the first evidence, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad tidings, but we've got in the rural news this week, we've got some updates on the Valuer General's estimations of the value of rural land out in these regional areas.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first and sometimes the second years in a row, we've seen significant decreases in the value of rural land. Now, everyone who's lives out in this area knows that for a period of time, rural land was on almost a vertical trajectory, and the gains that have been made in that space in the last 5 years certainly overshadow or outshine the current losses. But it's in a downward trajectory. Now, is it a correction? Is it a consolidation? Will it become the stable base? I think, from the very least from these reports, we've seen the last of the vertical price increases, and I think it will stabilise. I'll find a couple of the more pertinent.
Oh, pardon me.
Now, they're talking a double-digit slump in Greater Hume's rural land values is part of a wider cooling across the region's agricultural shires, contributing to an overall 0.8% decrease in rural land values across regional New South Wales. The decline in Greater Hume is particularly notable when compared to its immediate neighbours, Federation Council, who recorded a decline of 2.8%. Greater Hume they've recorded a reduction in rural land values of 12.8%. Now that's pretty real.
I'd reckon so.
Temora, other LGAs facing substantial rural decreases include Temora at negative 10.8% and Naranda at negative 10.4%. Some LGAs have increased. Industrial land, residential land, they're all on different trajectories, but just in Temora alone, the Valuer General has recorded a decrease in the value of the rural land of about 10%, 10.8% in land that's been transacted in the past 12 months.
Yeah.
That seems to be borne out with some of the unsuccessful marketing that's been going on, where there are properties. No, there's some properties that are sitting long term on the market at asking prices that the prospective purchasers aren't prepared to pay at the moment.
Yep.
So does that mean that land value? One would think that the next 12 months we'll see flat land prices at the very best.
Yep.
Because I don't think it's a secret that it's been a challenging year for the broadacre cropping production specialists in this area. It was a very late start to the season. It was a long time getting that first rain. A lot of people sowed dry, and then we've been sort of moisture deficient for the majority of the growing season.
Yep.
And we didn't get quite the significant rains towards the end that we would have really filled out the crop potential. So we're in an environment where northern New South Wales and southern Queensland have had a bumper. Western Australia is currently enjoying a bumper harvest. So there's no shortage of grain in Australia. In the broader international sense, the US, Canada, Russia, the Ukraine have all had very big harvests.
Yep.
So the world's got what would be considered a marginal oversupply in that space. So locally, so that's going to put pressure on agricultural inputs. There's going to be competition for agricultural inputs all throughout the globe. So there'll be no relief in sight there for local growers or producers. Coupled with that, the yields here, most of the grain and cereal prices are down on last year. And one way that you can overcome that is to have higher yields, but we haven't been fortunate enough to be in that position.
Yep.
And also you've got to throw into the picture the persistently higher interest rate environment that we're in compared to what's previously been the case. So interest rates are having an effect, lower production is having an effect, higher input costs is having an effect. So that would then tend to play that land prices will go sideways at the very best. And maybe there might be a continued further decline in the realised prices for some of the agricultural land in the district.
Yep.
So that sounds a little bit bleak, but I think it's quite accurate. So don't shoot the messenger.
Why not? We get shot all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to play into the prospects throughout the community for all the other businesses who operate in the space. So I think it's going to be I think some people are probably going to cover costs this harvest. Some people might have a little bit of a shortfall. I don't imagine that there's going to be a great amount of largesse in the rural community in terms of expenditure over the next 12 months. I think it's going to be basically heads down, arse up, and working hard.
Yep.
So, look, on a positive note, it wasn't a wipeout. They've got something to do. livestock prices are solid. There's a lot of hay that's been, a lot of failed cereal crops has been converted into fodder, which can go into production of livestock. The livestock markets are quite strong. So there's always a silver lining to these things.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just going to be one of those situations where people have to just, work through it.
Work through it.
But I think
Australians do that quite well traditionally.
But there just seems to be a general air of austerity starting.
Well, I've had the quietest 4 weeks selling cars that I've had for as long as I can remember.
Well, there was a RV caravan manufacturer that went into liquidation this week, and they've laid off 250 workers just before Christmas.
Yeah, right.
The Victorian government have just announced 1,000 job cuts in the public service in Victoria. So Merry Christmas to you, poor bastards. Jacinda Grinch Allen has just delivered, the worst news that a family could possibly receive.
And she timed it nicely, right before Christmas. Based on the fact that you're already robbing and stealing around blind, surely you could have waited until, I don't know, mid-January to fuck these people's lives up.
Anyway, so
I mean, I'm all for cutting the public service by any means, but your timing proves what a dead cunt you are.
Well, anyway, that's the situation. But I think it's pretty obvious that all of the largesse that was evident as an immediate reaction to COVID and the post-COVID environment, I think all of that liquidity is washed through.
Yeah.
And we are coming back to some sort of a reality and who's going to pick up the tab. And there just seems to be the stupidity of everything. Apparently there's a major tunnel in Sydney shut down, owned by Transurban, which is it's virtually brand new.
Oh, well,
they've had to shut because they believe that the concrete roof could fall down on top of some of the travelling public.
Oh, God. Well, we try to avoid tunnels that crash on people.
So when they build these tunnels, they put a waterproof membrane and then they shoot shotcrete up there to form the tunnel and it sets and everything else. Well, apparently some of the shotcrete's actually sagging and bulging as though it's holding back some subterranean water.
Oh, good.
So they've probably taken the sensible step.
Probably the sensible step would have been to do it right the first fucking time, particularly based on, again, unlimited budgets based on the fact that it's all paid for realistically by taxpayers.
Well, probably got paid by taxpayers, and then Transurban have the luxury of clipping the ticket for the next 25 years on it.
That's exactly right. So get it fucking right.
But the one thing that I find most abhorrent in the current situation is we've never had more oversight. We've never had more government intervention. We've never had more administration, and we've never had more red tape. There's never been a stricter building code. There's never been more obligations on anyone trying to do anything meaningful. Yet here we are with some of the highest rates of deficiencies or defective builds. The whole thing is just a shit show. It is an absolute shit show.
I've been banging on for this. That shit does not fix a damn thing. It does not support a damn thing. All it does is make things more expensive and justifies bureaucrats' jobs. The reality is you don't need a health inspector in a restaurant. What you need is people not food poisoning people, because the minute you food poison people, you have no customers left, therefore you have no business. Yeah. I don't give a flying rat's. If I walk into I'll use a Chinese restaurant. Some fucker will go, yeah, that's racist to say, but you walk into a Chinese restaurant, and they might have slightly different standards to what's expected, let's just say. If the food's really good,
all the tables are full,
and I don't get sick, and nobody gets sick, everybody's happy, I don't really give a fuck what's going on out the back. I don't care. And I'll tell you why I don't care. Because I've paid whatever I've chosen to pay. I've eaten. I'm happy. I'm fed. I'm not looking at the back. That's not my problem, right? Now, in the same vein, if I go to the Chinese restaurant over the road and it looks sparkling, but I leave there sick and the table next to me has people who are unwell, people over there, or somebody finds a rat in the soup, or whatever the case may be, you don't need a government official to shut that down. People will very, very quickly this day and age, particularly this day and age with the rise of the internet, they'll be bankrupt in no fucking time, and you won't have to worry about them serving ratty soup because the people will have spoken and they'll vote with their fucking feet. If you're a shit tradesman, you will struggle to get jobs to the point that you'll go, oh, fuck, I better find something else to do. Nobody's using my services. Or you'll get really fucking good at it because it's the only way you're going to feed your family. I made a video, actually, on the weekend.
There are some people who just seem to continually just rip people off and pop up. And often they're in a licensed trade situation, and it takes forever for... there was a plumbing company that recently got their license revoked.
Yeah, right.
But it took 180 complaints.
Yeah. But
180.
Stop fucking using them.
But no, the problem is these people exist and they can out-advertise and they can out-social media. But
Harry, the non-plumber without a licence down the road is amazing.
Yeah, but in a small community, you've got word of mouth and a bad reputation spreads quicker than as much advertising as they want to do. In the cities and that, they can basically exist.
Sure.
And that's where they cause the damage. Out in the bush, charlatans are pretty quickly exposed and people are on the ball. And if someone gets scammed, well, everyone knows about it pretty quick.
Yeah, well, that's right. But there's also this thing called the internet. And the average punter these days will jump on there and go, we'll use plumbers as an example. And they go, I need a plumber. I'm in Campbelltown. Okay, there's 50 plumbers have all just come up. Okay, what are their ratings on here? Oh, this guy's got a bad, review for not being on time. Okay, but he's cheaper than the other guy. But that guy's
some companies actually sit there and they write their own reviews.
Of course they do. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm learning this AI shit. I could send out 1 million AI bots to say that I'm the best at everything ever. I don't need to. I'll say it myself. But
listen to this.
But
this is on the internet.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been verified. This is an AI overview of an amalgam of the stories. It goes on to say a Sydney plumbing company, Point Plumbing, also known as Dan's Plumbing and Ferguson's Plumbing, so they've got enough names so that they can't be confused with the actual...
Yeah, the bloke that's, fucking up your toilet.
Had its licences suspended by New South Wales Building Commissioner for multiple consumer complaints, including an invoice for $31,000 to fix a 98-year-old man's toilet.
Yeah.
Now, for $31,000, you could probably build the man a new toilet, run brand new pipes out to the sewage.
And there's a pretty good chance you build him half a house.
The suspension is under review, but the company and its director are being investigated for overcharging, misrepresentation, and unfair contract term. Reasons for licence suspension: repeated customer complaints, breach of obligations.
But then old Harry, the plumber, who's not a plumber, who's got wonderful, wonderful service, doesn't rob anybody, he'll get stitched up by some government bureaucrat for not having a fucking licence. So on every side of the coin, there's good, there's bad. There's some arsehole like that, and let's be fair, you hope he goes broke, you hope he gets hit by a bus, whatever happens.
Well, believe it or not,
you're trying to rob people like that.
Believe it or not, the suspension was initially for 60 days, but it stays being granted by NCAT. Pending a hearing.
Yeah, so they're still out there trading, still out there ripping people off.
So
people need to wake up themselves, do their own due diligence, be a fucking adult.
Yeah.
It's,
And trust your gut. That's one thing I say to people. People have lost the ability to listen to the little voice in their head and to trust their gut. And whenever I ignore those items, I find I have an adverse outcome. But whenever the older I get, the more I just go, what do I feel about this? How do I feel?
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable. No, I'm not going to proceed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you go, feel so much better now I've made that decision.
Yeah. Good decision, mate. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Life's good. Yeah, mate, I get it. And I look at these dodgies. Eventually they're going to get caught out. Or eventually somebody's going to punch them in the head. These things.
They'll cross the wrong person. They'll rip off someone's grandmum who's a heavy dude, and he's going to go.
The 92-year-old for his toilet happens to be a rebel biker who goes, hang on, I'm not fucking copping that.
Yes.
And whatever. Karma's very, very effective.
Karma's real.
I don't doubt it for a second.
Karma is real.
You know, and look, I made a bit of a video on Sunday because I was out pest controlling for the day. We all know I do a bit of that on, you know, in my spare time,
Yep.
and I do it when it suits and whatever. And I spoke to somebody, and again, I'm not going to throw anyone directly under the bus. I'm not going to do it. But I spoke to somebody who's previously used other people, which is fine. I get that. That makes sense. I'm obviously, I do it in bits, you know, like I just do it when it suits me, really. Like, obviously, I look after the same customers over and over again. But, you know, when I get a new customer, oh, yeah, there you go, you talk to them. Oh, well, I was using a different company.
Yep.
They billed me, I think they said it was $4.5 grand for a termite installation system.
Yeah.
That was 3 years ago. They can't get the company on the phone. They can't get them to come out and check it. They can't get them to come out and spray their house. Can't get them to do any damn thing. But they've managed to bill them to put these, and a termite system's plastic canisters with canisters inside the canisters in the ground, whatever. They are expensive. I'm not saying that he overcharged or anything, but they're sort of looking going, we paid for this system believing there would be annual ongoing support.
Yes.
And that's sort of a big part of it is obviously we don't want a termite infestation to our fucking house.
No.
Whereas this guy who charges $5 grand, because you're still charging $300-400 a visit when you go out for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not cheap, but you don't want your house to be eaten by termites. So these people were pretty disgusted and they stomped the foot and they're pretty unhappy. And, you know, that particular company, I think, is going to struggle to retain or keep clients if that's how they go about it.
Yeah.
And they deserve to not retain clients when they do that sort of shit. It's not that hard. Like, you know, although I had a local client a couple of weeks back where I said I was going to be there on a Saturday, and absolutely I penciled it in on the Sunday, and I was showing up on the wrong day. Just purely my fuck up. They messaged going, you still come? Oh shit, no, my bad, you know, my problem. But, you know, little things like that happen. I'm not saying I'm infallible, but you're talking about 3 years.
Yeah.
And this customer's saying, oh, we rang. And we've rung. And we've left messages.
Yeah.
They're the sort of businesses,
They're being ignored.
plumbing companies, whatever, they'll go out of business. They deserve to go out of business.
Mm.
And some arsehole like me will show me, I'll fucking do it for you, no problem. I'll solve that problem. No problem at all.
Mm.
And, you know, I same it with the restaurants, with sign writing. If you're a shit sign writer, I don't care if you've got a license or not. I care if I want a great big billboard with my head on it over the top of Temora Shire Council, just because I'm imagining somebody having conniptions in their house at that thought. But, you know, I want a big billboard with my head on it for Temora Shire Council. I'm going to put it over the top bit, you know, right above the door so that people can see it when they walk in.
Welcome, Mayor McRae.
That'll be the one. You know, I want the sign company. I don't care if you've got a license. I want to go, you've done a bit of work. Oh, right, you've got a bit of experience. I'm not an artistic bloke. Make me look pretty and put it above there. And there you go. And how much is that going to cost me? 10 grand, whatever, right? Okay, there's your 10 grand. There you go and do it. I don't give a shit what your license is. I do not care because it doesn't matter. If you do a shit job, then I'm going to care. Yeah. You know, and a company like that, okay, they're doing what they're doing.
Well, the biggest problem I find is when you've got the average person has got this belief that there is the Department of Fair Trading and there is the Building Commissioner and there is this and there is that. What you find is when you have a bad experience and you turn to these people that you think will represent and protect your rights.
We are outsourcing our own self-responsibility and self-reliance to some fuckwit bureaucrat.
But even still, they don't get any protection then anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying. So we're sitting there.
Yes.
I certainly don't.
We're certainly paying for a system that's delivering nothing in value.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there going, they'll keep us safe. The government will keep us safe. The whatever will and it's not going to fucking happen.
No.
So you need to go and fucking do these things. You need to argy-bargy. You need to go, right, I'm going to do my homework on this company before I'm going to do business with it. And then you kind of can go, if all things come unstuck here, then you kind of go, what the fuck?
I'll give you an example. I had a good customer experience this week. I bought an expensive washing machine on a recommendation from an individual who repairs them. Anyway, the washing machine is less than 2 years old. but it was an expensive washing machine, and it comes with a 5-year parts and labour warranty.
Yeah.
So,
Hang on, somebody still repairs washing machines.
believe it or not.
Here you go.
Now, I was away for the weekend, and Sunday night, Monday morning, my wife informed me that the washing machine was no longer working. So I did the limited checks that I can do to ensure that the power was still connected and it wasn't just simply a blown fuse or something simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was lights coming on. There was obviously electrical. It was awake.
Yeah.
It just wasn't doing what it was asked to do when we pressed the start button.
I was married to one of them once.
Yeah, so would you believe there's a QR code on top of the machine?
Yeah.
And I scanned it with my phone and it gave me a phone number and I rang it and I got a human.
Are you bullshit?
No, actually I didn't, because it was after hours and they said I could leave a message. I thought, no, I'll ring them back tomorrow. So I rang them back the next morning.
Yep.
And I got a human.
Yep.
And it was within hours, so that's okay.
Yeah.
People have got to have time off. And the person said, oh, yes, so you've got a problem. And they got me to get the serial number for the machine. And they said, oh, yes, we've got you here, blah, blah, blah. We'll arrange a technician. And so I got a day or two later, I got a phone call from a technician saying, oh, look, I've got a job here from this company. Can I come and have a look at your washing machine? I said, you sure can.
Yeah.
The technician turned up and fixed it in that first visit.
Yep.
And
happy days.
And it's all covered. And I just went, that was a good experience. One phone call, one visit from a tech.
Yeah.
Problem rectified.
And you feel pretty good about it.
Well, I just go, okay, I can see the difference with that experience as opposed to
a $50 washing machine that's going to shit itself.
I've had other experiences with similar,
Yeah.
And I've gone, that didn't feel good.
Yeah.
You have to do everything. You have to take it back to them. You have to pay for them to come out and look at it. Or. Yep. This one was a really it did demonstrate to me that there are still companies out there who are
somewhat customer centric,
doing the right thing. They're charging a moderate premium for it, but if you're getting the service, then you don't mind paying. And
that's, I guess, where I'm at with all the little things that I do. Like I sell more cars via referral than anybody probably else, certainly running around where we are.
Yep.
These are people who, somewhere in these other spaces that'll, yep, I want to come and buy a car from you. That's just because of the people portion of it.
Yes.
That's not because I'm 100 times better than
because the other people are going to sell a car, and you're not magic. You can't automatically have cars that are $5,000 below market value.
No, absolutely not. I've had a little bit of moderate success in this industry so far. A large portion of that carries over from my public profile elsewhere. People go, oh, yeah, fuck, I know what you do. And obviously I'm very active in promoting and doing da-da-da-da-da. Same thing with this pest control thing. I'm developing clients over years who will buy a car and then they'll go, can you come and do my house? Yeah, I'll fit that in on Sunday or I'll come over Saturday, whatever the case may be. And it's not, people aren't going, oh, shit, he kills my spiders so much better than the other guy. It's a, hey, how you going? Oh, fuck, I love the renovation. You guys have been doing great. What's been happening? How are the kids? Yeah, good to see you again. I'll see you in 12 months.
Yeah.
It's it's that slightly different element and that's where I think business is going to go. It's going to come down to the more successful people are going to try and get a fucking plumber in tomorrow. Well, they're very hard to get hold of. But even to answer the phone, not even to tell you they're too busy, just don't answer the phone.
One of the best initiatives we've put into our business is we've got a product line that's always been a headache.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we looked at the product line and how we could actually work it out so it was a job for us to do, but also it delivered the outcomes for the clients.
Yep.
And now we're proactive and we've got all these clients who are signing on to that service and it's a winner.
Yep.
And it occurs at a time of the year that suits us. We box it all up, and they're getting serviced. And
Pardon me.
it just seems to be taken up by more and more organisations all the time.
Yep.
And
Pardon me.
we're not doing it. We're not doing it at any cut rate or anything, but we're just doing it with a degree of organisation. We're taking we're proactive, and we're approaching them. Once they agree that they're going to do it on an annual basis, then we contact them at a particular time of the year, and we say, okay, it's time to have this annual update done to
this part of the project. Yep.
And we just turn up.
Do you need us to be there at the time? We need to get access?
No.
Or?
We furnish them with their previous year's information, and all they have to do is fill in
what they'd like.
Fill in the blanks.
Yep.
And then we
Yeah, perfect.
And because we've got all the stuff on file, a lot of these locations are involve travel.
Yep.
So if we're organised and we don't have to do a site inspection and then return to do the job, if we've got all that stuff archived and recorded to the material specification and all the other critical dimensions and stuff that we need, then we just turn up in one visit, do the job, and because we're dealing with these things more consistently now, there's less searching for the data. It's all a bit more front of mind.
So, and I do that with the pest control.
Exactly.
I've now got a bit of a database. The people who are on 3 monthlies,
yes,
they get a text.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at some time in the next week. Yep. Same thing. Annual this time of year, about October. I sort of go through the list. Look, I'm going to be in Junee this day. I'm going to be here that day. Does this day suit you?
Yes.
And you go to 110, you do 5 or 6 jobs, happy days.
Yeah. And if it's easy, like I say, if it's an easy experience for them, they're happy enough with the product, well, they'll get you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they don't pick the bill up and have bill shock and faint.
Yep. And you're not trying to extort them for money. You're just sort of going, look, these are the prices.
It's a fair price.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty straightforward.
We've sometimes, because signage is so unknown, the pricing, we've had situations where we've given clients an estimate or a quote, and they've gone, oh,
they fall off the chair, and then others.
Then they'll go and get a quote
from somebody else, and
somebody else, and they come back and they say, oh, yes, we're quite happy to proceed on this basis, because they found out that not only are you providing a good product, but it's at a very good price.
Fair price.
Very competitive price.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest issue we face is apples for apples comparisons.
Yep.
And we've discussed this before. Quite often, the variation in a quote that I might do as opposed to a competitor, the difference in the pricing will be reflected in the quality of the inputs that we're using. So they're not paying more for me to do the job. They're getting me to do the job at the same price as the other provider.
Yeah.
They're just getting better material.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and they're like, in order to be successful in a business in regional Australia, you have to have repeat clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're an arsehole, they don't get you back.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, and you run out of clients pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that's the basis of it in regional. It's a bit different in the cities, and you can advertise and you can keep cultivating fresh meat.
Yeah.
So to speak. But in a regional sense, you do tend to just keep.
Better to shear the sheep than slaughter the sheep.
Absolutely, and that seems to be the basis of it. But it's look, we've had a really good positive year. We've got a good bit of really strong work sort of booked for end of this year and the first quarter of next year. And business conditions. There's a lot of challenges.
Yeah, of course.
With costs, I paid the other day on the highway. I paid over $2 a litre for some diesel.
Yeah.
I thought, that's on again. So
Doesn't that make you sad when you have to do that?
Well, it's just a reminder that stuff, it got up there a bit at one point, then it came back down, but I think it's on the way back up again as well. So, as we know in Australia, we do pay some of the highest energy prices in the world, and diesel's no different.
That's fucking ridiculous, yes.
So they're all the things. When Albo says he's going to return manufacturing to Australia, you've just got to say, and how you propose to do that, Albo, with the highest electricity and wage prices in the world,
Yeah.
and no specialist skills here, and we can't even make a screwdriver.
Albo's fucking retard.
Yeah. But people believe it.
Some do, yes, and the reality is he did far better because there was no genuine opposition. Because
yes, well, that's right.
You know, that's why there's still no genuine opposition. Nobody there that's tickling my bits, I can tell you.
Did you know? Last Monday was the 1st of December.
I believe that was the case.
Well, that's cod opening.
Cod opening. Yeah, right.
Big
So
day
you're
on the
getting
calendar
excited,
for
yeah?
Australians.
Yeah, righto.
So the Murray cod is now officially back on the menu.
Officially, you're on the menu. How good's that?
So we're going to go and try and find a cod on the weekend. Wish me luck.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I've actually managed to, with all these social media blocks and bans and bullshit that are coming, quite a few people have been, well, are we going to be able to follow you if we don't go through with this facial recognition that they're going to make everyone do? So I have actually found an app that does give us a newsletter that you can effectively subscribe to, and I'll just make sure I'm going to put a heap of old content on there and build it up with new content. So it'll probably be a bit messy because fuck, that's just how these things are. I have no idea. I'm working it and learning it.
Yeah, but it's you weren't a full-time publisher.
Yeah, no, but it is live and it's
Will it have the right day on it?
Fuck, maybe, but it is there. I've got the link in this description. It does.
Anyone who's not following, that was a reference to our collector's edition of the Temora Independent that was published on Friday, November 20th, 2025. Now, if you go and consult a calendar, you'll find out that November 20th was actually a Thursday. So we've got a very rare newspaper in the Australian publishing landscape that's actually got a Friday, November 20th.
It's fucking rare.
Publication.
And truly.
And it's also rare for that other. We didn't do Rick picks tonight.
Well, quick, let's go. The lights are on. I know when do you go on holidays? What do we got? 2 more episodes before we go on a couple of weeks break?
Yeah, not long. It won't be far away. Today's edition of the Temora Independent has got on the front page, one picture of our illustrious mayor on the front page. Then we have to go all the way into page 6, but this one will be blown up on.
Oh, because he's holding the Prime Minister's hand. I'd be fucking embarrassed.
So there's 2. Then the next page we've got the one about the code of meeting practice. So
he's looking very sombre in that photo, and
he's looking very zen.
Very zen, you reckon? Fuck.
Cat's got the cream.
People, old ladies down there. Surely he's in the middle of that.
No. No. 3. Someone. 4.
Oh, there's the 4th. They did write their own article though, so fuck, does that count as a Rick pick?
Well, they've got 4 photos of the mayor, so that's about par for the course. So Noel's, that's one thing that I've never seen actually ever written in the paper where it's actually signed
by the Temora Shire
Council. So if anyone ever wanted any evidence that the Temora Independent really is a rag
for the TSC and run by and for.
So
yes. So if you want to get around that, my new newsletter, you can subscribe to that shit. The link's in the sidebar there. And obviously it'll be a work in progress, so don't panic. No, but if they do start shutting down everybody's Facebook pages and all that sort of malarkey, which seems to be a very real possibility at the moment,
who knows?
That's how one of the tools I've managed to figure out to put in place just in case. So anyway,
if push comes to shove, we'll all have to go down to the pub and have a beer and actually talk to each other face to face.
I don't know if I want to talk to you. I don't like you.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. You keep upsetting all these people at council, and
well, obviously I must be a villain.
It's hurting my reputation being affiliated with you.
I must be a villain because council have had to spend significant sums of money on codes of conduct.
They're fucking potatoes.
I'm still a councillor though, so I don't know whether it's effective.
Oh, I think it's very non-effective. Is fair.
Yeah, so I think the majority of the people in the community actually know the truth. The only people who probably don't know the truth are the conduct reviewers and perhaps the Office of Local Government. But I'm sure they'll learn the truth.
They'll learn because eventually they'll watch enough episodes of this. They'll fucking catch on.
Yeah.
But ladies, look, sorry for the first 20 minutes of audio. That was extremely unusual. I'm still not actually sure what caused it, to be fair.
It could have been
There's some bullshit glitch in the system.
Yep.
ASIO tuning in to try and quieten us down.
Who knows? But anyway, we've overcome the adversity yet again.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. Yeah, we're all rearing up for Christmas. Everybody have a good time.
See ya.